The number one thing on my list is going to be to hike down here to Cascade Canyon to check out these frozen waterfalls. This area is absolutely stunning. Make sure you have micro spikes on your shoes or crampons because the trail down here is fairly steep, a little bit sketchy, and it's definitely gonna have snow on it, possibly ice. And if you're an ice climber or rock climber, you can do some mixed climbing in here, and it's still pretty close to town. You're about 33 minutes from downtown Durango here, and we're just about a couple minutes past Purgatory Ski Resort. Walk about a quarter mile up the road, up Lime Creek Road, and you're gonna see a little bit of a trail because there's people coming down here to ice climb. If you're unsure of how to get here or have questions about this, please shoot me a message, give me a call, give me a text. I'm gonna start with a list of snowshoe trails that I really love and my family really loves. The first one's actually gonna be Lime Creek Road, which is going to be right up this trail from where we're at here. And it's gonna actually go up to Spud Lake. Now you can Google that, really, really pretty lake in the summer, but also a great hike in the winter with snowshoes on. Fairly long hike, so definitely prepare for that and plan for that. The next one is gonna be the Meadow Loop in the Horse Gulch Trail System. So that's gonna be a short walk from downtown Durango. And so you're really close, really convenient. Then the next one on my list is going to be along the shores of Vallecito Reservoir. A little bit longer drive, but really pretty. And then they also have cross-country skiing trails along there as well. Try to get there early because parking will just back up along the road. Church Camp Trail is my next one. So that is actually outside of Falls Creek Ranch, which is a really pretty subdivision. If you haven't seen any of my videos on that subdivision, worth looking those up. Shoot me a message or comment and I can send you the link to that video. But that is only about 15 minutes from downtown, 10 to 15 minutes from downtown Durango. Next one's gonna be Hermosa Creek Trail. This is probably one of my favorites. I live really close to this one, so I could actually go from my house to this trail. The next one is along County Road 124 in La Plata Canyon. So it doesn't take much digging around on the internet to find people that have triggered avalanches in here. So the key to this is don't avoid going here. This is a really pretty spot to go to. The key is just not going off trail or off the road. And guys, this is why you guys got to reach out to me because I am more than happy to share a list, jump on a Zoom call with you, kind of do a map tour of Durango and show you subdivisions that are really close to these awesome snowshoeing trails. And of course, in the summer, those are going to be hiking, running, biking trails as well. So I'd love to share that with you. In addition to that, I'm more than happy to get my drone up in the air, show you subdivisions that you're looking at, show you areas, and show you kind of that comparison to how close they are to maybe certain trails you're looking for or whatever you want to live close to. And the next item on my list is snowmobiling. Now, if you guys haven't been snowmobiling, you can rent one or you can even take out a guide. Several spots that I really like are going to be all the way behind Lemon Reservoir. There's also one kind of to the east of Vallecito Reservoir as well. And then there are some great spots out just past Purgatory Ski Resort as well. All right, the next item on my list is going to be skiing. So there's a few spots to downhill ski. It's going to be Purgatory, Wolf Creek, which is really one of my favorites. And then there's going to be the Hesperus Ski Mountain, which is really, really small, but worth checking out as well. Then if you guys didn't know, we have heli skiing, which starts from Telluride and ends back in Telluride, but they fly you over to the Silverton Mountain, which if you didn't know is actually the highest mountain in North America. No cut runs besides what they did for avalanche mitigation. And then their booking deadline is 90 days prior to when you want to go out with them. And according to their website, $19.50 per person, 4-person minimum. And then that gets you 6 runs. And again, starts in Telluride, finishes in Telluride. All right, now let's talk cross-country skiing real quick. A few areas that I really like to go to are gonna be Vallecito, La Plata Canyon. Again, that's Vallecito Reservoir. There's a groomed trail that goes halfway around Vallecito Reservoir. I really love this area. Then you've got La Plata Canyon, which is up kind of west of Durango, about 15-20 minute drive west of Durango. You got Missionary Ridge. This is in the Animas Valley, about 15 minutes north of downtown Durango. I personally love this area because you're gonna get stunning views of the Animas Valley. And then you've got Hillcrest Golf Course, which is right in town. Really pretty area to ski. And if you live in town or close to town or buy a property close to town, you know, you are on the snow within 10-20 minutes of leaving your house. Then you've got some private subdivisions. So Dalton Ranch, The Ranch, there's several others like Edgemont subdivisions. They all have some private trails. And so this is, again, why you guys got to reach out to me, because I'm happy to specifically show you subdivisions, get some video for you of subdivisions that have private cross-country skiing trails, as well as private trails to do some snowshoeing on, which of course in the summer transfer over to running trails, hiking trails, and some of them allow you to bike on those. I am at the Durango Nordic Ski Center. As you can see behind me, there are some really nice groomed trails for cross-country skiing as well as snowshoeing. And there's about a mile worth of flattish trails that you can see, and then it goes back up into the forest. And another thing I really like about it is its location. It's just across from Purgatory Ski Resort. So if you have friends skiing there, you can just hop right across the street and do some cross-country skiing as well. Then something we did this last winter was do a twilight snowshoe. So they offer these guided snowshoe hikes through the forest where you have these beautiful views of this valley right here. Then I also wanted to mention this lake right here is called Twilight Lake. A great lake to hang out at in the summer. You can paddleboard, you can swim, just hang out at. And then there's a great trail on the other side of it that I was just mentioning. And then there's also a really nice playground on the other side of it for kids. So a lot of different things to do for families right around this lake. Not to mention, this groomed trail is great just to walk around in or run around in the summer as well. If you're considering going backcountry skiing, really be aware of avalanches. I really recommend taking some classes. They've got some great classes in Durango to teach you about risk of avalanches and really how to mitigate your risk. Durango even has the Polar Express. Check it out. That's right, we have the Polar Express.
This is the Polar Express.
It is super popular among families with kids. It's a much, much shorter ride, and it's themed around the Polar Express movie. So they have people dressed up just like the characters in the movie.
Polar Express.
They're reading the book to you out loud. They're doing dances. They're doing different songs. They're handing you hot chocolate. It's a really, really fun time. We just took my almost 2-year-old on it, and he absolutely loved it. I would say it's maybe a hair long of a trip for somebody that's that age, but maybe a little bit older, and I think it would have been perfect. Then a few other things about the train ride that goes all the way up to Cascade or Silverton. So the Silverton train ride is about 7 hours. It's a full day. You stop in Silverton, then you have time to get out and go to lunch in Silverton. There's some great restaurants there. Feel free to reach out to me for recommendations. Then a few other notes. You can move from your reserved seat over to the open air car to really experience all the beauty that you're experiencing on the train. And once you get to Cascade, if you end up doing that 4 to 5 hour Cascade ride instead, they give you about an hour to get out, have lunch, walk around, and you're actually right by the river. So you can get in the river and play around, maybe bring some towels with you, I'd recommend, if it's in the summer, of course. And I definitely recommend going in the winter as well. Prices are a little bit lower, but it's super gorgeous with seeing all that snow on the trees in the winter as well. Just a different environment, different scene. We're now at Durango Hot Springs, which is probably one of the most popular things to do in the winter, as well as coming back from Purgatory Ski Resort. So we're about 14 minutes from downtown Durango, and this is situated in the Animas Valley, just across from Dalton Ranch and Trimble Crossing. Now they have 32 mineral hot springs as well as 2 cold plunges, kind of one of my favorite things. Then they also have private Japanese style Ofuro cedar tubs that can be booked for 1 or 2 people, and you can actually control the temperature to whatever you want, as cold or as hot as you want it. And then they also offer massages and have a spa on site. They even have a food truck that has really, really good food. We just ate here the other day, and then they also offer alcohol as well. They have a really good margarita that I just had the other day as well. As I'm driving away from Durango Hot Springs, I realized I forgot to mention, definitely be aware and cognizant of the day, if it's a weekend or if we got a really good snow at Purgatory Ski Resort. You will have a ton of people at Durango Hot Springs. So kind of plan for that. If you can, be early, give yourself plenty of time, and try to call and book a reservation. Now we're at the Durango Rec Center. They're on the north part of town, and a few reasons that I really like it in particular are they actually have about 130-yard track upstairs next to the gym. So you can actually run indoors if it's snowing outside, if it's icy outside, and it gives you that nice option to not just be stuck on the treadmill all winter. Then they have just about all the weights that I need from free weights, dumbbells, machines. They have a good amount of treadmills, ellipticals, as well as stair climbers. Then they have a really nice rock wall. They have several basketball courts where they will also set up volleyball nets and have club volleyball teams meet there. My wife and I were actually on a volleyball team a couple winters ago, so it's a nice thing to do to kind of break up the winter. Then on the other side, sometimes they'll set up pickleball courts as well, or pickleball nets rather. And then next to the basketball courts, they have two really nice racquetball courts as well. Then they have a really nice pool. On one side, they have lap swimming, they have diving boards, and they even have a rope swing. Then on the other side, it's more for kids and younger kids. They have kind of a really shallow area with several little slides. They actually just renovated. We actually just took our son there for his second birthday, and he absolutely loved it. Was crying when we had to go home for his nap. But then they also have a really big slide that's great for adults as well as kids. They also have a hot tub and a bunch of other little amenities in that pool section. Something else I really love about the location of the rec center is it's located right on the Animas River Trail. You can see the river trail right behind me, river right there, beautiful views behind us. And then the rec center is right here behind me. Now we're at Bears Ranch and they offer old-fashioned sleigh and carriage rides, and these guys are in the perfect location. They're just at the entrance of when you get into Haviland Lake. And so on the sleigh ride, you're gonna have views of Haviland Lake, Needles Mountain, Engineer Mountain, as well as these Hermosa Cliffs right behind me. The sleigh ride is about 45 minutes and they provide you with hot chocolate and blankets. Other thing that's really cool about these sleigh rides is they offer a VIP tiki sleigh ride that departs at 5 p.m. And what's really unique about that is it's as the sun is setting, and so you'll have that alpine glow, that beautiful view of Engineer Mountain as well as Needles Mountain, and then as well as the Hermosa Cliffs behind me here. And what's cool about it as well is the tiki torches are gonna light the sleigh trail on the way back to the ranch. Another thing to do in the winter is take a tour of James Ranch. Now, as you can see behind me, there are cows grazing out there, so you can walk down by the fence and see the cows. And then in the summer, they actually have a guided tour where you can see how the cheese is made. You can see a lot more of the property in the summer. And then I also wanted to mention they actually have a homestead school. I think it's a couple days a week. Now at Chapman Hill, Durango's ice skating rink, which is located in town Durango. They offer public skating, drop-in hockey, and even adult hockey leagues, as you can see behind me. They have a Fort Lewis club hockey program as well as a youth hockey program, which is really, really competitive. So if you have kids that are interested in hockey, definitely worth looking into, giving them a call or hopping on their website, and definitely worth swinging by. They even have disco nights, so worth checking this out. Now, right outside of Chapman Hill Ice Rink is Chapman Hill, which has 500 feet of vertical. It has 2 rope tows and a bump course. Really fun. What I love about it too is it's lit up at night, so you can come skiing or snowboarding at night. We're now at Christ the King Lutheran Church, and this is where Cafe Al Play is located. And so to tell you a little bit about this, this is probably one of the only indoor spaces for kids to play, besides maybe the rec center, but where it really has kind of your jungle gyms, your playground type area. And so to tell you a little bit more about it regarding in the winter, they're upstairs in the church in a big, bright area that overlooks the outdoor playground. Indoor space is available for drop-in use Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. And then in the summer, they have 3 fenced-in playground-themed areas for different ages. They have an infant play area, wobbler and toddler play area, a sandbox, an open space for ride-on toys, baby swings, climbing structures, picnic tables, and more. We really love taking our kids here. We have a 2-year-old and almost a 1-year-old. They really enjoy it here, and it's really a great place for them to come in the winter because going to the rec center isn't maybe quite as ideal at their age. Playgrounds outside, you know, we're at our high in the winter is about 31 degrees in January, so not ideal in the winter for them to be maybe outside as long. Downtown Durango has a monthly gallery walk, and then you'd also be surprised at how many theater productions there are throughout the year, from Fort Lewis College to the downtown area. Then some girls that I coach that are in middle school and elementary age from our church actually really enjoy going to Durango Aerial Arts and Acrobatics. They love them, and they actually do some performances as well and do a great job. We really enjoyed going to one of their performances recently. Something else that they really enjoy doing is going to Stillwater Music. So they are the kind of premier place to go for music classes for kids. tons of different music classes. Our 2-year-old, or almost 2-year-old, was just in their music classes and he loved it. He's still singing some of their songs and drumming just like they taught him. While I'm downtown, I figured I gotta give you guys a good restaurant recommendation. I highly recommend Seasons. For lunch, I really like their green chili pork sub with braised pork shoulder. And one thing worth doing, especially in the winter, is grabbing a hot chocolate at a coffee shop in downtown Durango, but not any coffee shop. I recommend checking out Animus Chocolate and Coffee Company. Really cool atmosphere and really, really good hot chocolate. And a great spot for sledding is here at Buckley Park. So we are just north of downtown Durango. As you can see behind me, a bunch of kids have been sledding on this spot right here. And then in the summer, this is also a really nice spot to come take the family, and they have concerts here every single Tuesday afternoon. All right, so now I want to tell you guys a few things that you really need to know if you're considering moving here regarding the winter. So you really want to know what the elevation is and what kind of snow you're going to get at these subdivisions or properties that you're looking at purchasing. So real quick, if you're going west on Highway 160, really as you get 5 minutes away from downtown Durango, it's going to start climbing in elevation. Then once you get closer to the Edgemont subdivisions going east on Florida Road, you're going to get about 30 to 100% more snow than in town Durango. Those subdivisions are about 1,000 feet higher in elevation, kind of in that 7,400 feet elevation range. And so again, this is why you guys got to reach out to me, because I'm more than happy to pull up the map, give you a real good map tour of where these properties are at, where the elevation goes up, so that you have a real good feel of what kind of snow accumulation you're going to get compared to in town Durango. So again, feel free to reach out to me, give me a call, text, email, days, nights, weekends. We've got your back when it comes to moving here to Durango. We are licensed realtors, like I mentioned earlier. Now, a few other tips. Be aware of which way your driveway faces or if it's covered by trees. Unfortunately, my driveway is covered by several trees, so it's really hard for that ice to melt or that snow to melt, which turns into ice. And then the grade of your driveway. You know, if it's going to be a longer driveway, just factor that in. You might want to be paying someone to plow your roads for you. Then consider getting a tractor, an ATV, or a snowplow yourself if you're open to doing that. We just made an offer on a property this morning where my client's going to ask for the seller's UTV as well as their snowplow. That way he can plow the driveway himself. Next thing on my list is actually a little bit more niche. And then a few go-to clothing items. It's gonna be a down jacket like this. This is kind of a mid-weight down jacket, fairly tight. It's gonna be one of kind of your base layers, and then having a really good Gore-Tex shell as well that's gonna go over a jacket like this. So that's gonna be great for when it's snowing, even raining. It's gonna have a really good hood as well. Now, a few things that we love to do in the winter, kind of leading up to Christmas, is actually cut down our own tree. So there's a map where you can see certain areas of national forest that you're allowed to go and cut down your own tree. And you can just go to certain convenience stores in town, to get a tag, a permit for that tree. And then you can go out and find your own tree. A few places that I really like are Lemon Reservoir, as well as up off of Missionary Ridge, which is north of downtown Durango. Now, regarding driving in Durango, I really recommend having a four-wheel drive vehicle, as well as maybe having some chains. You're not going to need them most seasons, but just having those as well. Then on top of that, I really recommend just being prepared. Having some water, maybe even having a sleeping bag in your car, having some blankets, having some stuff just for emergency survival situations, just if you need it. Especially if you're driving away from downtown Durango, going on a trip, going up towards Uray, Silverton, those areas. It can get really remote. I just really recommend just being prepared overall. So don't hesitate to reach out. I'm a licensed realtor here in Durango, and we've got your back when it comes to moving here to the Durango area.